National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett. He says China's cheap goods are killing American jobs.
The fact is that if you go back to 2000, when China entered the World Trade Organization, everybody said, oh, it's going to be so good for everybody's welfare because prices are going to come down. We're going to get all these cheap Chinese goods. Then what happened for 2 terms of the Bush administration, 2 terms of the Obama administration, is that real incomes stagnated. Over the whole 15 years, starting in 2000, real incomes only went up by $80 over the whole time. Everybody's telling us, oh, your standard of living is going to go up so much because of these lower prices of the Chinese goods. So Trump was elected to fix that, and that's what he's doing.
Congressman Riley Moore, Republican from West Virginia, joins me now. Congressman, so we don't want cheap Chinese goods anymore? Consumers are not going to be happy about that.
Well, Stuart, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. No, in a community like mine, in a state like West Virginia, we have to think about this. The United States, we're not just an economic free trade zone. We have communities and families with children and dreams and aspirations for those children, and we're no longer going to barter their future for cheap goods made in China. We've heard this time and time again. This economy is a win for the American consumer. Well, I call it a loss for the American worker and a short-term gain for the corporate stockholder. So, yes, we do need to reorient this economy, Stuart.
Understood. And I've got to be all for it, I tell you. But are we prepared to take the pain? Are we prepared to keep going with these tariffs for a period of months? It would be painful.
I think obviously in a big movement like this, you're going to have some market corrections. There's no doubt about that. And I understand uncertainty is priced into this. And I understand that as well. But try living in generational uncertainty like we have in West Virginia, where we've lost thousands of jobs due to globalization and dumping of Chinese steel into our marketplace. That's what we're living in. And so what the president is going to do is reorient this country towards the American worker and actually start producing things. When's the last time we've had consistent 3% GDP growth in this country? It is very uncommon for us to see that. Prior to China into the WTO, that was more commonplace. We'd see that all the time because we're not making anything anymore. That's where we need to get back to. No country has ever been made great by consuming. They were made great by producing, and President Trump is going to make this country great again by making things.
How's this going to be resolved? Is the president going to do deals with individual companies? Individual countries? Is it going to be company to company doing deals? Is it company to country doing deals? How do we resolve this?
Well, I think it's all of the above there. Look, we've seen even our own companies like Apple announce $500 billion investment back here into the United States. We've seen countries themselves ratchet back on their tariffs. And that's part of the reciprocal tariffs. And part of the strategy here is to bring reciprocity to the table and come and negotiate and bring those tariffs back down. Now, a great strategy to not pay tariffs in this country is to make things here in the United States. And that strategy, by the way, is something our own companies have implemented over in China now for decades to avoid tariffs there in China. We've been moving all of our manufacturing over there. Well, it's time to bring it back over here because we do have one of the greatest consumer markets on the face of the planet.
Congressman Riley Moore, Republican, West Virginia. Thanks for joining us, sir. I appreciate it. Come back soon.
Stuart, thank you so much.
Sure.